state's good, and how do we know the difference between the original and the avoiding and the conflicted? Like, how do you know?
The retro states, as I said a bit earlier, have unwanted behaviors. And it's not unusual for someone to do something and wish they didn't do it. I wish I hadn't eaten. You know, I ate for 45 minutes, and I felt the person will think they feel out of control afterward. But actually, when a retro state is out and in the conscious, the person doesn't feel out of control. The person is highly in control. If a gambling state, which is a retro state, a behavior that often people wish they didn't have, if a gambling state is out, it blocks the other states. It's very zeroed in, it's highly focused, and it's very good at holding control. That state that someone might come home and go to the fridge when they first come home and eat for 45 minutes, and they might have other states that later wish they hadn't done that. But they're not there during that 45 minutes. That retro state is holding complete control and is doing a behavior that later on other states don't appreciate. And the difference between a retro avoiding state and a retro original state is the retro original state learned that behavior in childhood, and the person has done it their whole life. Rage is often a retro original behavior. Pouting might be a retro original behavior. Passive aggressive behavior is retro original behavior. A personality disorder, if the person doesn't like that behavior, that's often retro original behavior. It only becomes retro when the person decides, I wish I didn't do that.
Okay.
But the retro avoiding behaviors are like gambling and OCD. And the retro avoiding state is really our friend that's coming in to avoid the bad feelings of a evaded state. The personality will start to feel anxiety, start to feel, for example, that person that comes home and starts eating, they might come home to an empty house, they might feel a bit lonely or a bit frightened or a bit uneasy about their life. And to avoid those feelings, this helping retro avoiding state comes out and goes to the fridge and starts eating. And during that time, that state is out, the person feels a lot more in control, a lot better, a lot more focused. The same thing with OCD. When the person's checking locks and taps or not stepping on cracks, they feel a lot better than they otherwise would. And drug behavior is retro avoiding behavior often. And the person might feel a lot of anxiety, and the retro avoiding state comes out and takes a drug that state has learned will block that anxiety, and it's there to avoid those negative feelings. So there's retro state negotiation that's used for both retro original and retro avoiding states, and that negotiation actually says thank you to the states for being helpful. It doesn't say thank you for what they've been doing, because it's often behavior that's not wanted. But the retro state negotiation it appreciates the help that state has been providing, and that feels good to that state, because it's often felt like it's working hard and not getting any kind of appreciation. And then it finds the retro state negotiation discovers what the purpose of that state is, and it finds another way that it can accomplish that purpose. And there's steps where you go to another state and get appreciation from another state for the change in behavior, and that feels good to that retro avoiding state or retro state. And the treatment regimens are quite clear on exactly how to work with retro states, but that's all you have to do with the retro original state is the retro state negotiation. But the retro avoiding state, in order to help it, the evaded state that it's avoiding, the uncomfortable emotions that it's avoiding need to be addressed first. Otherwise, the next time those emotions come up, that state feels like, I have to help this person, and it will go back to the retro behavior, to the gambling, to the OCD. So if you work directly with the gambling part, or if you work directly with the part that checks, locks, and taps, directly with the part that self-harms, often that's very hard to get any change. So you need to work with the part that has the anxiety that part is avoiding, and resolve that anxiety, resolve the beta state anxiety first, and then you do the retro state negotiation to find if that state is needed in the future, how it can be positively helpful in the future. Now, if you only work with the anxiety, often the retro avoiding behavior will cease temporarily. But then later on, 6 months, 18 months later, if the person gets more anxiety, that state is there knowing that I can help by gambling, I can help by smoking, I can help by eating, and they will go back to that behavior because it's a helpful state that has a way to help. What we want is to resolve the anxiety and then also make sure that that state, if it's needed in the future, has a positive way of helping, continue to be a helpful state, continue to be appreciated, but with a positive behavior, and that eliminates the retro avoiding behavior entirely.
Because I'm hearing what I'm listening to, and correct me if I'm wrong here, that all the states are basically their intention is to always help and look after the person.
That's right. All of our states are our resources,
Yeah.
and when our states are all healthy, all psychologically healthy, when they no longer have pathologies, our states are able to help us enjoy living. We want our fragile states to enjoy a rainbow. We want our assertive states to look after us if somebody's criticizing us. We want our intellectual states to do our taxes. We like our resources to be there for us. And when the states, when we can resolve the pathologies of our states, then we can live a much more open and free life because we have our resources all available to us. And they're all positive. And resource therapy is about finding out what positive things a state can do, making sure it's healthy enough to be able to offer that, and making sure that that team of states on the inside are all together, all working together, all respecting each other, so that there's a peace within, and the person can feel settled, and they can feel like I have resources. Doesn't mean they won't make mistakes. It just means that they can use their better resources when they're attempting to